All right. Well, it is the week where the Suicide Squad dropped in theaters and in HBO Max. And I believe all of us Omega Level nerds have seen it. Of course, D Square with you tonight, along with Halo drama, Jelly Rose, Volsker, and J100, who will be allowing us to see his face here in just a few minutes. But let's get right into it. I just want to get everybody's reactions to the Suicide Squad. I do believe they're varied, so we may have a bit of a spicy discussion here. So, Terrell, let me know how.
Who?
Yeah, Halo drama that happens sometimes. Um,
Um,
what were your thoughts? Because I know you don't like the superpower so much, and I know you like you know gory
Street
scenes and
level.
whatnot. So how are you liking?
yeah.
How are you
Um,
like?
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
Um, I thought it was okay. Seeing as in, I'm just really getting into. Unfortunately, I know I'm late to the game, everybody, but I'm really getting into, the comic book movies now.
yeah.
More the Marvel side than the DC side, clearly.
Fucking
So,
right.
so I, so I don't know a lot about the DC side outside of Batman and Superman, outside of the
Yeah.
known people, of course. But I went ahead and gave the movie a shot, to see what it was like, and it was okay. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It wasn't Mortal Kombat. It, but it
Its
wasn't that.
box office numbers would kind of beg to differ, but nonetheless.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't Mortal Kombat, but it wasn't Shawshank Redemption either.
Right.
Um, but it was a good movie. I thought it was okay. Would I watch it the second time? Me personally, probably not. I feel
Okay.
like I got everything I needed out of watching it the first time.
Okay.
That there's no need for me to watch it again anyway.
Okay.
I have notes and stuff that I want to go over, but we'll all go over
Yeah.
that together because I'm sure you want to get onto everybody else's thoughts about it.
Yes, sir. Jelly Rose, we'll go with you. What was your impression of the Suicide Squad?
Oh, I gotta say, I like the first one more. It
Wow.
was kind of like one of those. I like the first one,
I wasn't
Bolsker.
laughing at you. I was laughing. Yeah, I was laughing at him.
Bolster
You know I
disagreeing?
like the first one. You guys are just
You
mean.
have talked about
Anyways,
that.
the second one, it's different. It reminded me of another kind of like movie, but I can't think of the movie with all the little random titles and whatnot that are like thrown in
I got
everything.
a
And I'm like,
Pulp
I've
Fiction
seen
vibe.
this in something.
Yes,
And
that's
I'm
in my
like, I can't
that's in my
remember what the
notes.
hell this has been in. Because I didn't even ask Hubs because Hubs was like, why did you make me watch this? Why did we have
Oh
to watch this?
man.
But like there were some things that confused me. There were some parts that I really liked, and then there were some parts that are like really, and then I cried because I cried during fucking everything. So
And jeez Louise, as white people say.
So Jelly, were you
who
crying
says
because
"Jeez
Jesus Christ.
Louise"?
I just told you who. To answer your question.
what
Just must
were
be whiter than me. I'm like freaking pale as shit.
right?
Yeah, but anyway.
We'll get into a little bit of spoilers later, Jelly, but did you cry because of like King Shark or Rat Catcher 2, I think her name is?
Yeah.
When did I cry? I remember.
Totally Captain Boomerang.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I feel that.
I was like, oh, because
They killed the big
yeah.
starfish.
I can't remember why I
It
cried.
was
I guess
so
we'll get
cute.
into it
Yeah.
like later, and I'll remember. But I cried.
Totally when the weasel couldn't swim. That's when you cried.
Oh my! That was
That
my
was so
very first note.
ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
That was
Okay.
Oh
more
my!
like
Okay.
really, like really.
Okay.
I called it straight out. I was like, he's playing weasel. Like, hello.
I am Weasel.
My goodness.
Oh my god.
J100 joining us, of course. Now we can see him. So
What up, Jay?
I kind of know your opinion already, but now's your time. What did you think of the Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad was boring. I just I don't I mean I get the point of the Suicide Squad, but then like when you think about all of the stuff that includes the Suicide Squad as far as the DCEU, no, the DC animated universe and the three Suicide Squad movies that they've made so far, like how is Waller allowed to do anything? Like I don't know. Just when you contextualize it with the universe, it just I didn't really like it. The only thing that I really did like was the rats. I like the rats.
Okay.
Those are my favorite
Rat,
characters from the
Rat Trap 2. Sure.
Sebastian.
Is that
Sebastian's my
waving
favorite
at me?
favorite. That's my homie.
Okay.
I named at least one of them Splinter.
Right.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah, I was watching a review of the movie, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't care what you tell me. This chick is the daughter of the Rat King from the Turtles. That's it." Interesting. Taika Waititi played her father, Rat Trap 1. I was not expecting
Yeah.
that.
I was
When
telling
I hear him talk, I can hear Korg's voice now.
Yeah.
right. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, "Oh, look, the guy that is in a what is it called? A
Suicide Squad does not need to be PG-13. That's
Right.
like Deadpool not being able to drop F-bombs.
Right.
Wait a
That's my
minute. So the
biggest
first one was PG-13?
Or it's like a loose R. Like they weren't allowed to actually
You-
go gory.
Yeah, you can have a PG-13 and still have like a couple F-bombs, but yeah.
I think there was a director's cut. It might be R,
Ayer's
but it
cut.
wasn't like hardcore R. They weren't allowed to be like the Suicide Squad to the point like the Suicide Squad animated movie. That's one of the highest rated animated movies because how adult oriented it was. Now, I mentioned to you guys when I started watching it, this absolutely is James Gunn. Straight hardcore. It is Guardians meet Deadpool. When you turn to a random group of people that you either like, don't know, or know, and it's just gore fest with F bombs. Like I was rolling. That first 15 minutes had me laughing my ass off. But there was some points where I was like, really? Because it kind of you can tell it reminded me a little bit of the G.I. Joe movie. You know, the sequel where The Rock kind of took over and they killed like the people you actually grew to love with fucking G.I. Joe. That's kind of what I felt at first when they kind of split the teams and what happened with the established characters. But we'll get into that in a little bit more.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'll probably watch it again.
Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you that I also enjoyed it a lot. I thought this was a great Suicide Squad movie. It was absolutely hilarious. John Cena and Idris Elba, like and I put this on my Twitter. Lethal Weapon, Riggs and Murtaugh, played by John Cena, Idris Elba. That has to happen.
He
I
was
was
in the
very
movie.
surprised.
I didn't see him.
Who? Yeah.
Oh my God! I
Gotcha.
can't believe myself. But never
Yep.
mind.
Got him. Good
Click.
job, Jelly. Speaking of which, I had a nice scene for you
I'm
ladies
so
with.
ashamed.
I am too. I'm trying to barrel through it and kind of act like it didn't happen, but I was like, huh, really? I don't get that. And then, oh wait, John Cena. Yeah. That was a good one. But yeah, speaking of John Cena, ladies get a nice scene of him in his tidy whities just kind of standing there. So hope you all enjoyed that.
That
Oh,
comedy
I had a-
between those two.
Yeah, so I had a question about that part since we're getting into things now.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, we'll go full spoiler alert at this point, guys. So boom, there it is.
So
Spoiler
like
alert.
what was his balls and what was his dick?
Yeah.
What I was wondering. I was looking
Because
at it,
was
and I'm
just,
like,
way too much bulge in like 7 places, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was
As
like
you
and he
looking
ain't
can,
at,
got
I'm
no
like,
ass. So I'm like,
Maybe he has like a helmet down there too.
I guess.
It's for
it's
Liberty.
like, let me put some socks in there, make it look bigger, and then it just looked lumpy.
Oh my god. And I mean,
Didn't-
going back to like the pre-show talk, maybe he's trying to compensate for something with his ego.
maybe. It's going to get a
Yes.
spin-off
Like-
series, which I find
Which-
interesting.
Originally they talked about there was rumors it was be a prequel, but now that we all seen it, is it going to be a sequel?
Yeah,
They left the door open for either or. You
yeah,
did watch
'cause-
the after credits, right, Jelly?
I guess I didn't see the after credits.
okay. They really wasn't much. It's
There was after credits.
there's a small
Yeah.
after credit scene where basically they revealed that the
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker he died. You know, him and the Bloodsport had their fight, but he's alive, and they're gonna do shit with him. So
His heart
that's-
basically survived, so they were able to keep him alive.
Mhm. But I really, really, yeah, I'm really surprised how good this was. I really was. I think James Dunn did a great job. This is really the one advantage that Warner Brothers has over Marvel at this point, which they can make stuff like this, rated R, gory, and this fits the Suicide Squad. I mean, there's no more perfect vehicle than to get some like super obscure villains, throw them in a movie, watch them die, and
We
again,
gotta
the
remember
jokes.
too, like, and I wanted to mention this too. So we love what he did with Guardians. He can make a good team up film. What most people don't know is he actually started with the Troma films, where he used to work for Troma, who did the like Toxic Avenger and shit like that, the really obscene, weird comedy fucking. So
Mhm.
he has a huge comedy background and doing some of like the Troma talk shows and like horror films, bringing that into, and I think that's just a pure golden mix. And he's a very competent writer and director, which DC hasn't
Yeah.
really had in a long time. I mean, look at the last major film besides the Snyder Cut, 84. So we'd have to revisit that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the comedy
Please
to
don't,
me
please
is
don't
what
do that
made
to
the
me,
movie.
please. Can we just not ever mention that movie ever again? And then just to be an Omega level nerd, I watched that shit, and the whole time I was just like,
Stink face.
stop making Wonder Woman movies.
But then they rushed in and spearheaded a 3 the day of release. But I think this could be a good turn
No,
if they go out and get competent directors like this. And
Yeah.
from my understanding, they gave Gunn free reign. They were like, "What film do you want to make?" Because in an interview, they said they offered him Superman, and he was like, "No, I want Suicide Squad."
Yeah, absolutely. That's way more to his style. And such, good nuance too. I mean, not only was it gory and funny, but I mean, he made us care about King Shark and Rat Trap and Polka Dot Man.
Rat
like
Trap, Rat Catcher.
a Rat Catcher. Rat Catcher
Rat
2
Trap is a
is a Transformer Beast Wars.
Transformer.
Yeah. But he made us care about these really obscure characters. He put Starro in the movie. I mean, props to him for like going hard there. I love the Bloodsport character, Idris Elba. But again, John Cena enhances that. So I mean, my wife, who Omega level wife, she wants to see it again. And I was watching it with her, and she was like caring about King Shark. Of course, played by Sylvester Stallone. So kind of
He was really, really cute.
sure.
He was like,
He's
"Aw."
hilarious.
Well, it's funny that they established, like, make me your friend, and I
And-
don't need friends. Yeah. But yeah, from the very opening, I mean, you see all these characters just get mutilated. And of course, it's not one of these movies where, like, if you see a guy get his face blown off, which happens multiple times in this movie, they don't, like, cut away from it either. They, like, dwell on it, come back to it. It's cut a lot like Pulp Fiction, so it's not a linear story. It's kind of moving all over the place. So that's the kind of vibe I got.
Very
But
Tarantino-ish.
yeah, and the
Right.
comedy is dark. I mean, Weasel drowning was funny because they're like, nobody
was
fucking knew he
fucking
couldn't
hilarious.
swim. Like, what are you telling me? This guy can't swim? Like, yeah, and it's funny because he's Weasel, and they already described like, oh, he just killed a bunch of children, so you don't feel bad really, but it's hilarious.
That was legit the first note I had. Besides, after watching, the end of the
Mhm.
movie, that was the first thing I thought was hilarious. I was like, I don't know shit about this Weasel character, but I love how they just introduced him to die.
Right?
That was my initial reaction when I first saw that happen. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck him.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 characters that they introduced. You thought,
Like
okay,
freaking Mary Poppins ran in there and was like, shaming everyone else, like, oh, you guys aren't professional. And then he fucking cries like a little bitch in the water, trying
Yeah.
to get away.
And tries
the
to run away from the fight in water.
yeah, in
What
water.
the fuck you
And then-
doing?
Fucking Nathan
Oh,
Fillion.
Yondu, you gotta be
TDK.
smarter than that, Yondu.
Right? Better whistle or something. Shit.
Yeah.
Where the Ravagers at?
Yeah,
Where
right?
the Ravagers
Something.
are? God damn it.
You could even bring in the vegans from Scott Pilgrim. Somebody coming to help this dude. And
Milk and egg, bitch.
I as a character from what little I know about DC, I like Captain Boomerang. I like him in the same context that I like fucking Kano. He's
Mhm.
got a smart ass, sarcastic ass mouth, and I find that shit hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he was dead. I was like, get the.
Have you
outta
seen the
here.
first one?
I'm sorry.
Halo Drum. Have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of why I was a little annoyed with that part because he was hilarious. He's one
Right.
of the reasons that the first one was somewhat enjoyable because his back talk and his lip, and then when
Right.
that happened, I was like, what
Same.
the fuck?
Stuck. Like, why
Fuck.
the fuck did you kill off this dude? He was probably gonna be the funniest dude in this fucking movie. But
So
it is what
my
it is,
question is, what was with those flowers that was behind Harley when she was like killing everyone though?
I think it was just more just effect to go with the
Yeah.
music and the scene.
Kind of like
So
You
that
know.
really gave me a feel of another movie though. Like I was saying earlier, like
American
when they
Beauty?
did like the fire
God.
like next kind of thing, or like when they did the writing in the sand, the dirt, and then Dot fell into it. That came from some other kind of theme of movies I've seen before. Was it?
Legit, the only thing I could think of was American
I
Beauty.
think didn't they do that? It was a fucking Ryan Reynolds film where he's in a cop. Was it something Ace Smoking Aces? I think they did
Oh.
that in there.
Smoking Aces was a great movie.
But I think they did the transitions where they were like cutting. It was like pieced to. There was a couple films.
Oh, I see what you're
Right.
talking about.
Because like the toilet seat, he was Idris was cleaning, and or dude took a shit in. It was like 3
Yeah, yeah,
weeks or 3 days early, and
Yeah. It's like they were already naming what each scene is going to be called on the DVD release.
Right.
And
My-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you mentioned that Harley Quinn scene. That was my biggest complaint. The part that did not make sense at all is when the president of that country, which basically they're parodying Cuba, it seems like. But so when the president had Harley, made up like a princess, took her into the palace, he steps out of the pool, you get to see his, his junk,
You didn't
his
understand
abs.
why they did that part?
No, why? So, because what? Yeah, why would he be like, oh, you're a very beautiful woman? And I'm paraphrasing.
Well, he
obviously.
said that he
You're anti-American.
brother-
Like I didn't get that.
his brother mentioned that he was very he wanted to be accepted by everyone, and he wanted everybody to like fear him and think big of him. So he's taking this big